Alrighty, so here we are with the 2.1 assignment. So our first vocabulary is how is a solution of an inequality like a solution of an equation. So we will solve the same, but we're going to have an inequality symbol instead of an equals. And then the equation only has one. Oh, I like how I put an E on the end of has. Has a. Alright, has one solution, but an inequality can have any number of solutions, actually. Interesting that way. Alright, I guess when you have an equation, you can also have an infinite number of solutions as well, so that's good to know. Alright, so we're going to graph each inequality, and I've provided a number line on this worksheet, but of course if you have your own worksheet at home and you're not using this one, you can always just do that simple number line and put your marker in the middle there at your number that's being mentioned, one lower and then one higher. And then you can do your shading. So based on this symbol here, we have an open circle at 5. And then because that inequality symbol looks like an arrow that's pointing that way, we will in fact be shading that way. Ultimately, again, you are reading this as we want numbers less than -5. So just as you're looking through how to read that. And so that's why I've circled that one. So again, over here, I can just do this one as well, and it's the same representation. Alright, then looking at number 7, we're looking for 3.5. And remember, if you're not good at maybe getting right there in the middle, you can always kind of label it as 3.5. Also, again, the variable's on the left, and so we can go ahead and use that arrow technique of which way to shade. And then also you'll notice that it is an equal to, and so that's why I have the solid circle. Alright, looking at the next one, this is just a fancy way of getting to a value. So 4 minus 2 is 2, and 2 squared is 4. So really this is just trying to say 4 is greater than m. And so if we go to 4, we need an open circle because it is a greater than symbol without any equal to part. And then we can't use that arrow method on this one because the variable is on the right. And so instead we will just read it as 4 is the largest number. And so if 4 is the largest number, then we want all of the numbers below it. There we go. Alright, next one, again, same idea is that we're just trying to solve this. So 17 plus 8 is going to be 25, and then the square root of 25 is 5. So really we're instead saying we want numbers that are less than or equal to 5. And so 5 is equal, so we need a solid circle. And then we want numbers that are less than that. Or again, going to the arrow method means we would shade to the left. Alright, looking at each graph here, we can go ahead and identify at least the number that we're looking for. So -2 is part of it here. It looks like -8.5 for this one. When we're doing number lines and negative numbers, sometimes it's hard to see that this is between 8 and 9, and so therefore 8.5. Because we're so used to positive numbers, it looks like it might be 9.5, but it's not. This one here is 5.5 apparently, and then we have -7, 3, and 5. And since it doesn't say anything about what variable to use, we can always just use x. And so now we're just on trying to figure out if it's a less than or a greater than. And of course, since I have written all of my variables on the left, this can be very easy. it's shaded that way as an arrow, right? So I can go ahead and make a less than symbol. I can make a greater than symbol, less than symbol, less than, greater than, and less than, because I'm just following where I would make an arrow kind of on the end of these. Alright, then if we have a solid circle, we need an equal to marker. So let's see, this one has a solid circle, so it needs an equal to piece, and this one does too, and this one does. But all the rest of them are open circles. So it can be quick as long as you know what's going on. But of course you can also read the values here and just say we want numbers greater than negative 8.5. And therefore you'd end up having the image that they have there. Alright, moving on to the last few here. There must be at least 20 club members present in order to hold a meeting for this inequality. They want us to write one and then graph the solutions. So the least number is going to be 20 club members. So 20 is the lesser number. It looks like we can have 20, so equal to, and then M is our members. So there must be at least 20 club members. So 20 is fine, and anything above that, so numbers greater than or equal to 20, that's what we're reading, in order to hold a meeting. So now we're going to put 20, and then we can do one above, one below. We want a solid circle at 20 because we're talking about it can be 20 members, and then we'll shade to the right because we want more than 20. And as much as you see, but it says at least, remember that at least is actually going to be a greater than symbol. Alright, then the next one, a trainer advises an athlete to keep his heart rate under 140 beats per minute. So notice that they said under 140. And so 140 is kind of that maximum that we're looking for the heart rate. It doesn't say under or equal to, so we do just want a less than symbol and not an equal to part. So then we put 140, 141, and one less, 139. Open circle at 140, and the fact that we want it less than that. Alright, and then our error analysis here. Two students graph the inequality that 4 is greater than b, which graph is incorrect. So again, it'll help because this one is not written in that fancy way of the variable on the left. It will help if we read this as 4 is the largest number that we're looking for. Okay, so if 4 is the largest number, they have shaded both of them in the same way. That's good. And so the only difference that I see is that this one is filled in at 4 and this one is open at 4. And so since open is a greater than versus a greater than or equal to, this one is incorrect. And just be careful with these problems because they are actually asking which one is incorrect, which seems kind of backwards. So I always just mark which ones are incorrect and correct, and then you can take it from there. Alright, so hopefully your 2.1 assignment kind of makes sense, just practicing which direction to shade, what symbol works, and such.